Greg Jennings. Greg Jennings, when we booked him, it was the best story of the day. Now it's just, what do you make of that? What do you make of the Russell Wilson move? Your first thought on that?
It's huge. It's very big. Number one, I was listening to you, and it's like all the quarterbacks are migrating to the AFC, which leaves us, like you said, with almost nothing but Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford. But this is huge for the Denver Broncos. I love the move. They obviously had their eye on Russell Wilson the entire time, and Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks knew it. It was a matter of Aaron Rodgers and whatever he was going to come to terms with whether it be him staying in Green Bay or making the move to Denver. And Nathaniel Hackett has to be a happy individual right now.
Oh Lord,
he has to be a happy individual right now to land Russell Wilson.
Think about this, Greg. I'm going to give you a current combo in the NFL. You tell me how well it did. Old defensive coach and average quarterback. Denver gets Vic Fangio fired. Minnesota got Mike Zimmer fired. Washington, Ron Rivera in trouble. Pete Carroll now is going to be old defensive coach, suboptimal at quarterback. You get fired. That's how you get fired in the NFL. Doesn't mean Pete can't coach and Vic can't coach. I think Mike Zimmer's a really good football coach. The world's changing. Like, it's all offense now. So, wow. Now, here it is on the screen again, just to let you look at this, Greg. Drew Lock, Noah Fant. Noah Fant, what is your? I mean, he's big. What are your takeaway on Noah Fant?
I honestly feel like the Broncos they won this trade. They clearly won this.
That's
trade.
What I think.
Now the Seattle Seahawks, they were trying to just get assets. They needed draft picks back, obviously, with what they did with Adams a few years ago. So they had lost a lot of assets, and they needed that. Russell Wilson was going to provide that. I'm not a huge fan of Noah Fant. I don't think he's a bad tight end. I think he's shown some flashes, but he's been too up and down for me. He's not your complete package of a tight end that we're starting to see some of these guys, and he definitely can be a bright spot. But he's going back to the no quarterback situation.
Also,
so,
yeah.
I mean,
Greg, he also had a bad case of the drops. Now he may overcome that, but if I recall, I think Noah had a real case of the drops for the first year in the NFL. He really struggled catching the football. Again, man, nobody looks better in their uniform, including Travis Kelce, than Noah Fant at tight end. He is a physical exception in the National Football League. Had a case of the drops.
With a
ton of speed. Very vertical. Doesn't really want to block. The backup kid they like, he doesn't block much either. So it's a very deep tight end class for Denver. All right, let's go to the Green Bay thing. You thought Aaron would stay. Anything shock you?
No. When you're in your career at this stage in the juncture for Aaron Rodgers, it's about really one or two things. And he was able to get both, staying in Green Bay, getting the money, getting paid, and having an opportunity to win. That's what you're looking at when you're this long in your career, this tenured. You want to know that you can have an opportunity to continue to win and compete for Lombardi trophies. Check. Green Bay checks that box. Another check. How much money are you guys going to be willing to pay me? Well, he showed that he was going to be one of the guys that they were going to have to pay because of his play. They were wrong. The Green Bay Packers, they were wrong. They're not. It doesn't mean that they're going to get rid of Jordan Love, but they were wrong, and they allowed Aaron Rodgers to do what he does best and really prove that, you know what, I'm going to make you pay for it. And they have definitely paid for it. But I think everybody wins in this situation. The Green Bay Packers are an organization that wants to win and wants to win now. They're not huge on quarterback turnover. You think about the last two quarterbacks they've had over the span of 10 or 30 whatever years, 30 years I think it is so far. So for me, this is a win for the Green Bay Packers, even though they were wrong. But I think Aaron Rodgers is going to have to deliver, because that's kind of what they're expecting on the back end of this. Look, we didn't move on from you. We needed you. We put things together. We brought in Tom Clemens. We're going to make sure that Devontae is going to get locked in. Now we're going to lose some pieces, but you got to deliver. and he hasn't delivered in a while. And when I say deliver, we all know what that looks like. It's a Lombardi Trophy back in Green Bay.
All right, hold on 1 second here, Greg.
More breaking news? What is –
Hey, you know, this show's about journalism. Hold on. Hold on. So it says, just think about it this way. Here's what Seattle got. So Drew Lock, not a long-term starter, not worth a point in the NFL per game.
Correct.
Noah Fant, nice player, not a top 5 tight end, not worth a point in an NFL game. Shelby Harris, nice defensive lineman, no question. And draft picks, of which 30% in the NFL are whiffs. Seattle gets Russell Wilson. Between Russell Wilson and Drew Lock, there's probably a 7 to 8 point per game difference. I mean, like in Vegas, that's a touchdown. And an organization that gets a 4th-round pick with a history of drafting well. Like George Payton knows what he's doing. He's a really good general manager. And Russell gets an offensive coach, which is the trend in the NFL, a young offensive coach from an old defensive coach. I think it's lopsided.
It is, and this is telling, Colin, because it really allows us to look into the relationship between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. It was fractured. And Russell Wilson, being the consummate pro that he is, he wasn't going to mull it through the mud and drag things out. He was just going to do his job and do it at the highest level, understanding that he wanted out. He established that last offseason. We all knew that. And nothing really changed. And winning covers a multitude of ills and lulls and sins, if you will. But they didn't win. And so nothing for Russell Wilson was changing. And so when you look at this, it's a battle of who has the louder voice, Pete Carroll or Russell Wilson. And when you have two guys, your head coach and your quarterback, your most valuable player, and they're not seeing eye to eye, you have a potential fracture happening in your organization, starting at the 2 most important pieces, the head coach and your quarterback. So something had to give. I was thoughtful that it might have been Pete Carroll, but I'm not shocked that Russell Wilson gets out and he gets an offensive guy and he gets to do what he wants to do offensively. And I think Nathaniel Hackett is going to embrace all that he brings. Yeah, the Denver Broncos, by a landslide, in my opinion, win this deal. But I believe that the Seattle Seahawks were just really ready to move on and start fresh and try to reestablish what Pete Carroll is all about, and that's defense first.
All right, Greg Jennings, well appointed as usual. What a professional. Just think, the Green Bay story was the biggest story in the world for an hour. And now,
right.
Seriously, now it's like, right. This is such a big move. Good seeing you, buddy. Greg Jennings.
Likewise.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.